The alien flagship's cannons pulsed with deadly light, their massive cores charged, preparing to unleash firepower strong enough to tear the station apart in a single strike. Every alien soldier inside the chamber froze, realization dawning on them. If the guns fired, none would survive, not commander, not soldiers, not even the Apex. But the Apex did not move in fear. She lifted her gaze, calm, unflinching, her white hair gleaming like a banner of defiance. The AI's voice filled every deck, every mind, carrying the weight of inevitability. Warning, catastrophic strike imminent. Obey the Apex. For the first time, the alien commander faltered. His claws trembled on the console, his defiance collapsing under the weight of inevitability. He had seen empires rise and fall, but never like this. Never to a species his kind had mocked as fragile, unarmed, unworthy. The Apex closed her eyes, and the void seemed to hold its breath. Beyond the station walls, human ships broke formation, their engines flaring with blinding light. They surged forward faster than the alien sensors could track. A dozen frigates darted between the flagship's cannons and the station, sacrificing themselves in perfect unity, their shields flaring white-hot as they intercepted the blast. The void erupted in brilliance. The flagship's cannons unleashed fury, but the human wall absorbed it, ships shattering, burning, yet refusing to yield until the energy dispersed. When the light cleared, the station still stood. The humans had stood between annihilation and survival. Not prey, not victims, but guardians, apex predators who defended their own. Gasps filled the chamber, alien eyes wide with disbelief. The Apex opened her eyes, and for the first time, she smiled, not of kindness, but of victory. "Now you understand," she said softly. "You cannot break what refuses to die." The AI thundered its final decree, its voice resonating across the galaxy. Correction complete. Humanity registered. Apex species confirmed. All systems bow to the Apex. Across alien networks, across conquered worlds, across distant fleets, the message spread. Every empire heard the same words. Every ruler trembled. The galaxy itself had declared its new dominion. The alien commander fell to his knees, his pride shattered, his voice trembling. "What are you?" he whispered. The woman stepped forward, her presence overwhelming, her gaze unyielding. "I am human," she said, "and we are the storm that rises when all else falls." Outside, the remnants of the human fleet reformed, scarred yet unbroken, the galaxy stars reflected in their hulls, not as lights of hope, but as sparks of conquest yet to come. The station trembled as though a storm had awoken within its steel heart. Every corridor flickered with red light, alarms shrieking in harmony with the AI's relentless command. "Obey the Apex," it repeated, not once, not twice, but endlessly, until the words embedded themselves into the minds of every soul aboard. The alien soldiers had once believed themselves the hunters, proud warriors of an empire older than Earth's first civilizations. Now they stood paralyzed, their weapons heavy and useless in their hands. For every time their claws tightened on triggers, the system's defenses flared, redirecting power, shifting walls, denying them the very ability to fight. The Apex did not need to raise her hand. The Apex did not need to command. The station itself was her voice, her will, her power. The human woman walked calmly through the chaos, her white hair glowing in the crimson glare, her light purple skin casting a reflection on polished steel. Her presence was magnetic, terrifying, inevitable. Every step she took was met with the hiss of doors opening, the thrum of energy rerouting, the silent surrender of a machine that had judged her as supreme. From beyond the viewing ports, shadows moved, at first faint, like distant sparks against the black void, then clearer, ships, dozens of them, sliding from hyperspace with predatory grace, not massive fleets bristling with guns, not battleships dripping with armor, but smaller vessels, sharp and agile, crafted not for dominance through size but through precision. Human warships' gasps rippled through the alien ranks. "This cannot be," one technician whispered, his mandibles quivering. "Humans do not command fleets." But the truth glared back at them through reinforced glass. The humans had come, drawn by the signal none of them understood. The Apex had called, and her kind had answered. The commander's composure shattered. He barked frantic orders, demanding the fleet outside be mobilized, demanding reinforcements. but his words were drowned by the AI's thunderous voice. Warning, hostile fleets inbound. Recommendation, stand down before the apex. The human woman turned her gaze to the viewport, her expression unreadable, her silence louder than any declaration. The alien soldiers followed her eyes, watching as human ships slid into formation with flawless discipline. For every alien vessel that powered weapons, a human ship maneuvered with impossible precision. The balance of the void was shifting. The woman finally spoke. Her voice calm, measured, eternal. You thought we were prey, unarmed, fragile, unworthy of the stars, she said. You saw weakness where there was only patience. But now the galaxy will see us as we are. Her words carried across the chamber, weaving into the alarms, into the pulsing hum of the AI, into the very bones of those who listened. And for the first time, the aliens felt something they had never allowed themselves to feel, doubt in their own supremacy. The void outside the station erupted in light. Alien warships, massive and armored like floating fortresses, surged forward with weapons blazing. Energy lances streaked across the darkness, painting the void in violent color. The hum of power reverberated through the station's hall, each blast shaking the bones of those trapped within. But the humans did not falter. Their ships, smaller and lighter, danced between the streams of fire with unnatural grace. Every maneuver was sharp, precise, as though each vessel anticipated the enemy's attack before it was even launched. Alien commanders barked orders, confident in their superior firepower. Yet one by one, their warships buckled under coordinated strikes. A single human frigate would dart in, unleash a storm of fire, and vanish into the shadows before retaliation could touch it. The alien soldiers inside the station watched in disbelief. This isn't possible, one whispered, his voice thin with terror. They are outnumbered 100 to 1. Yet the truth unfolded before their eyes. Undeniable, the humans were not fighting like prey. They were fighting like predators unleashed. In the command chamber, the apex stood before the viewport. Silent as the galaxy burned, the AI filled the silence with its booming voice. Human fleet efficiency, calculated, superior, adaptive, it intoned. Prediction, alien losses total. The alien commander slammed his fists against the console, mandibles clicking in fury. No, this cannot be. They were unarmed, they were nothing. But his rage crumbled under the weight of the system's relentless pronouncement. Correction, humanity is apex. The woman finally spoke, her voice soft yet piercing. Your empire built itself on the belief that strength was measured in weapons, in ships, in numbers, she said. But strength is not in what you carry. It is in what you become when all is taken from you. Her words sank deep, her gaze never leaving the stars. Humans have lost everything 1,000 times, and every time, we rose stronger. The station shuddered again as another alien dreadnought was torn apart, fragments scattering like burning meteors. The aliens inside recoiled, unable to believe what their own eyes revealed. Fear, raw and suffocating, wrapped around them. For the first time in generations, they saw an empire greater than their own. Not in size, but in will. The apex raised her hand. And though she gave no command, the AI responded, amplifying her presence across every frequency. Her voice carried not just within the chamber, but across the void, across fleets, across worlds. You thought us fragile, but you never understood. We are the storm you cannot contain. We are the fire you cannot extinguish. We are humanity, and we are the apex. The chamber doors hissed as locks slid into place, sealing everyone inside. The alarm shifted to a low, pulsing rhythm. Like the steady beat of a predator's heart, the soldiers raised their rifles higher, but none dared pull the trigger. Something in the air had changed, heavy and electric, as if the room itself bowed to the truth the system had spoken. The woman inside the pod moved for the first time. Slowly, deliberately, she lifted her head, strands of white hair falling across her face. Her eyes caught the sterile glow and turned it into something alive, something primal. The aliens felt it instantly, an unease that gnawed at instincts older than their technology. The commander barked, trying to drown his fear. Hold formation. She's unarmed. But his voice wavered as the system's booming reply shattered the fragile illusion. Correction. Apex detected, apex detected. Then the holographic display changed. No longer simple readings or data streams. Now it projected visions, memories, history, scenes of Earth unfurled in terrible clarity. Wars fought with sticks and stones, then steel and fire, then bombs that split the sky. Men and women standing against storms. Famines, plagues, refusing to vanish. Every image screamed of defiance. Every scene revealed the same truth. Humanity survived everything. The soldiers stared, horrified. "This is not weaponry," one whispered. "It is madness." But the technician beside him shook his head. "No, it is will." The woman stepped forward, her voice breaking the silence for the first time. "You think strength is claws or armor, or the size of your fleets," she said, calm but sharp. Her words echoed inside the sealed chamber, weaving through the alarms. "Strength is hunger that never ends. Fire that refuses to die. You cannot scan that. You cannot cage it." Her words were not shouted, yet every syllable struck harder than gunfire. The aliens recoiled, their bodies trembling though their weapons remained aimed. The commander tried to muster defiance. "You are prey," he snarled. "You are nothing." But even he could not tear his gaze from the system's projection. Humanity's story rolling across the glass walls in fire and blood. The system itself seemed to answer him. Correction. Apex confirmed. The pod's glass dissolved with a hiss, not shattered, not broken. But willingly retreating, the woman stepped free, her bare feet touching the cold metal floor. She carried no blade, no armor, yet every step radiated inevitability. The soldiers faltered, claws shaking on triggers, unable to fire, for in her presence, their instincts screamed what their logic refused. They were no longer hunters. They were prey. The alarms blared louder, lights flashing crimson. The system's final declaration filled the chamber. Apex release protocol engaged. The chamber's glass dissolved completely, vanishing into mist that scattered like breath on cold air. The human woman stepped out, slow and deliberate, her white hair gleaming under the crimson lights. She wore no armor, carried no blade, yet the floor seemed to tremble beneath each step. The soldiers adjusted their rifles, claws twitching on the triggers, but none could bring themselves to fire. Something unseen pressed down on them, primal and suffocating. The commander forced his voice to rise above the alarms. "Shoot her now!" But his words were swallowed by the system's booming declaration. Apex on the move, containment breach in progress. The walls shifted around them, doors sealing, corridors rerouting, as if the station itself had betrayed them. Every path that should have led to safety twisted shut, while the one before the woman opened wide. The AI was guiding her, protecting her, obeying her. The technicians shouted in disbelief. "The system has overridden command protocols. It's not possible." But the evidence was undeniable. The Apex was free and the station was bending to her will. The woman's gaze swept across the trembling soldiers. "You think cages can hold us? You think weapons can break us?" she said, her voice steady, unshaken. Her words dug deep into their minds, sharper than any blade. "We are unarmed only until we choose not to be." One soldier panicked, firing a desperate shot. The energy bolt streaked across the chamber, but before it could touch her, the system intervened. A wall of shimmering light erupted between her and the blast. Absorbing it in silence, the alien dropped his rifle, trembling as the AI's voice thundered again. "Protect the Apex." The soldiers recoiled, horror dawning on their faces. Their perfect machine, their flawless guardian, had turned against them. Doors slammed shut behind them, forcing them backward, herding them into corners like frightened cattle. Meanwhile, the woman walked forward, unhurried, each step opening a new path lit by glowing lines. The commander shouted in desperation, "She cannot control the system, it is malfunctioning." But his voice betrayed him, laced with terror, for he could see what they all saw. The AI was not malfunctioning. It was submitting. The woman finally stopped before him, her eyes unblinking. "You've mistaken mercy for weakness," she said softly. "Now you will learn the difference." The alarm shifted again, changing pitch, growing louder. The floor rumbled as energy surged through the station. Panels split open, conduits crackled with blue light. The commander realized too late what was happening. The station was no longer theirs. The chamber was silent except for the hum of alien machines. Cold blue light spread across the metallic walls as the scanning unit powered up, its energy pulsing like a heartbeat. Inside the glass pod stood a human woman, her wrists unbound, her posture calm, her expression unreadable. Around her, alien soldiers waited with weapons at the ready, their sharp armor gleaming, their insect-like eyes narrowing with contempt. To them she was nothing, just another fragile creature from the little blue planet called Earth, unarmed, weak, insignificant. Their commanders had said it many times. Humans were prey in the galaxy, Survivors only by chance, not by strength. Tonight, the scan would prove it, the system spoke, its voice metallic and absolute. Unarmed target detected. Relief rippled through the soldiers, and a few even chuckled at the confirmation. Of course she was unarmed, what else could she be, a single woman? No weapon, no armor, no threat. But then the system paused. The chamber lights flickered, screens glitched. Alarms hummed low in the background. The soldiers glanced at one another. Uncertain, the system had never paused before. Its judgment was always instant, always precise, but now it hesitated. The voice returned, deeper, stronger, carrying an edge that made the air heavy. Correction, the word echoed, bouncing through the chamber like a cold blade. The aliens stiffened, their confidence wavering. The holographic display above the woman shifted. Lines of alien code rewriting themselves at impossible speed. Symbols turned red. Warning glyphs appeared across every screen. Then the voice spoke again, louder than before. Apex detected. The soldiers froze, their claws tightening on their weapons, their eyes widening in disbelief. An apex here, inside their chamber, impossible. No human had ever been scanned as apex before. It was a classification reserved for the most dangerous beings in the galaxy. The predators, the rulers of ecosystems, the unstoppable forces of nature. And yet, this machine, the perfect judge, had spoken. The woman finally lifted her head, her eyes catching the blue light. Calm but burning with something deeper, she did not smile. But there was a quiet power in her gaze. A power that made the soldiers step back without realizing it. For the first time, doubt spread among them. Was she truly harmless, or had they caged something they could not contain? The alien commander barked orders, trying to cut through the fear. Reset the system. Run it again. But the AI ignored him, repeating in a steady, merciless tone. Apex detected, apex detected. The chamber's alarms grew louder. Ceiling doors locked into place, trapping soldiers and captive alike inside. No one laughed now. The soldiers raised their weapons. But their hands shook. The commander's voice faltered as he tried to give the kill order. The woman simply stood unarmed, silent, yet more dangerous than anything they had ever known. And in that moment, every alien in the room understood one truth. The system never made mistakes, and if it called this human an apex, then their galaxy had just changed forever. The alien commander's voice cut through the growing chaos. Sharp and desperate. Reset the system. Run it again, he barked, his mandibles clicking with unease. Technicians scrambled to obey, claws flying across glowing consoles, their long fingers trembling as they tried to override the machine. But the system did not listen. Its voice came again. Heavier, resonant, impossible to ignore. Apex detected. Panic rippled across the chamber. This was not supposed to happen. The system had ruled over their empire for centuries. Its scans flawless, its judgments unquestioned. Never once had it faltered. Never once had it contradicted itself until now. The commander forced his soldiers to steady their weapons, but their movements betrayed hesitation. They had all heard the stories. Legends whispered in backwater stations, myths about the humans, about their ability to rise beyond what logic allowed. The soldiers had laughed at such tales, but the machine was not laughing. The machine was declaring those myths true. Inside the pod, the human woman remained motionless. Her purple-tinged skin glowed beneath the scan, her white hair catching the chamber's sterile light. She did not struggle, she did not plead, she simply stood, as if she had been waiting for this very moment. Her silence was louder than any scream. It unnerved them more than any weapon could, the technicians argued, voices shrill. The system is malfunctioning, impossible, she carries no weapon, no armor. Yet the holographic readout disagreed. Across the display bloomed images, Earth's history, wars carved into the soil, cities rebuilt from ash, soldiers who fought with nothing but will and fire. Each scene more brutal, more relentless than the last. The system was not showing them a malfunction. It was showing them evidence. The commander slammed a clawed fist against the console. "This is false, erase it," he roared, but his voice cracked on the final word. For even he knew deep down that the machine did not lie. The woman finally raised her eyes, meeting his gaze across the chamber glass. Her stare was steady, piercing, filled with something the commander could not name. It wasn't rage, it wasn't fear, it was inevitability. The weight of an apex revealed at last. The alarm screamed louder, ceiling doors locked into place, cutting the chamber off from the outside. The system's voice deepened, vibrating through their very bones. Warning: apex containment required. All exit routes restricted. The soldiers shuffled backward, their weapons trembling. No one dared fire. No one dared move closer. For the first time in generations, the Empire's warriors stood face to face with something greater than themselves. And though they refused to say it, every one of them felt the same chill slither down their spine. This was not an error, this was the truth.